This is a Sencore Cricked. This is a transistor tester. These have been around for a long time. This was at a ham fest and it caught my eye, and I thought I'd pick it up and see how it works and add it to my collection. Anyway, I've turned the device on. I've hooked up a 2N2222A transistor, and I know that transistor's good. I've tested it in my little component tester. It has a beta over like 240, so this is a good transistor. I've got the Cricked in NPN, which this is, and according to the instructions, I should be able to push these buttons and get a chirp, and I'm getting nothing. So obviously the unit has a problem. It's from a ham fest, so it probably needs a little work. As old as this thing is, I think what I'm going to try first, I'm going to clean all the switches in here, because that's a likely cause of problems. The light's coming on, the pilot lamp on the unit, so it's getting power. I'm going to open the unit up here. Luckily, I found here on the internet a manual, and it has a schematic, and it has a board diagram. Really helpful. And it's got a legend for the components on the component side. So with that information, this should be really easy to fix. I think the likely cause will probably be bad push buttons. So that's going to be my first attempt at repairing this. I've taken the front of the case off here. There's just 4 screws, 2 on each side, and then this front case just slides right off. Here's the unit undressed here. You can see here's the main filter capacitor here. That should probably be replaced anyway just because of age. Power transformer. One thing this unit does, I've never cared for this. I know I've had another piece of equipment that did this. They have a bridge rectifier which puts out 10 volts obviously, and then they use 2 Zener diodes, and they use a common ground point here to get plus 5 volts and minus 5 volts, 2 5-volt Zeners back to back. That just didn't seem like a real good way to do it. It works, but I find that interesting. Yeah, this unit's been around the block a few times. It's got a little speaker in here that must make your chirp. Back of the meter. Now these switches here, the backs are open on all these push buttons. This is a slide switch with a red button here, but all these push buttons here, they're open on the back, so they're fairly easy to get cleaner into them, but I don't have access to it. I think I'm going to have to do a partial disassembly so I can get the nozzle of a contact cleaner in there. And I see these boards are stacked here, and they're connected together through pins from the top board to the bottom board. That's interesting. That's found in a lot of Tektronix devices. Tektronix scopes. There's probably some kind of a calibration pot here, and here. Anyway, I'm going to try to get at these switches and clean the contacts, and then try it again, and maybe we'll get lucky here. I'm going to test that main filter capacitor too. Well, this unit came apart a little easier than I thought it would. 8 screws in the case here, and all of the separate assemblies came apart here. So it gives me access to the individual units here. In particular, what I wanted to get access to, these push buttons here and these slide switches here. Now, if you look at the back here, I hope it's in the video here, in view, you can see these switches are open in the back, which makes it easy to get your contact cleaner in there. And the actual contacts are on the side of the pins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over like this. And when I put the contact cleaner in, I'm going to give it a shot. I'll do the top ones first. And then I'll operate the switches a bunch of times to let the cleaner do its job. This is good stuff. Kind of expensive, but it really works. Wish I knew their secret formula. Now I'm going to get the bottom switches. Another shot. Now this one's a little tougher to get in the middle. There we go. Then I'll work those switches. Yeah, it's hard telling how many years this thing has been together here. So it's fairly old, you can tell by looking at the components and even the way the circuit boards are made. Plus this thing has probably been sitting in a basement for many years, so these contacts oxidize. I'm going to hit the slide switches. Yeah, they even work a little better now. Make sure I get it in. Normally I don't like to spray that stuff all over the place, but it's pretty open here, and any cleaner that gets on like on the board here, I can take care of that fairly easy. Yeah, both these switches were working kind of hard. Now a lot easier. So there's obviously some corrosion in there. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's going to come back to life. But we'll see. Let's see. Might as well give the on and off switch a little shot at it while we're at it. Yeah, even that one works easier now. Yeah, I have a feeling this thing hasn't been used in a really long time. Okay, that's it for the cleaner. I'm going to partially reassemble this thing and then give it a try, and we'll see if it works. So stand by for that. While I have this thing apart, I'm going to check the ESR on these capacitors here, and this is the main power supply cap. Let's see, it's 220 at 25. 0.23. That one looks good. What's this one? 100 microfarads at 15. Both of those are the same. 0.3. Well, that one was good too. 0.41. That one is That one's good too. This one's a little better. I think I'll leave them in for now. I'm not one for just replacing caps just to replace them. If they're still good, let them go. If they get bad later, I'll replace them. But I think there's a lot of good capacitors get thrown away. That went together a lot easier than I thought it would. One thing, if you get one of these and you take it apart, when you put it back together, put the meter assembly in first, because this bottom part, there's a ledge on the bottom that goes underneath this part here, and then make sure there's a door on here that you can close to enclose the leads here when you take it out. Make sure that thing is in the proper position. Anyway, it's back in position. All the switches have been cleaned. So the next step will be to apply power and see if we get any action this time. Before I put the front of the case back, I'm going to test it. I have that same 2N22 transistor hooked up that I had before, and according to the instructions here on the gain test, 2 of these buttons should measure good. So these 2 buttons I pressed measure good, so that's good. To measure leakage, you put the switch on the right here from gain to leakage, and then you push the 2 buttons that you pushed earlier that showed you that it was a good transistor, and this will measure collector to emitter leakage and collector to base leakage. So you should get 0 movement on the meter here, because that measures leakage. And then it says if you push the other buttons here, 2 of them should measure good. So 2 of the opposite ones from the gain measurement should measure in the good, which they do. So obviously this transistor is good, which I confirmed earlier. So I think this unit's working. Believe it or not, all it took was cleaning all the switches. And I noticed a big improvement in the slide switches when I cleaned them there, so there was quite a bit of oxidation probably on the switches. I don't know, this is a particular device I'm not going to use that often. I think I'm going to put this down in my shop in one of my buildings, and sometimes for bigger pieces of equipment they go in there because of space constraints, and this might be handy to have. Supposedly you can go and measure in-circuit testing with this thing, which isn't always good. This unit feels like it was used for service technicians out in the field, the way it's made. You know, the leads and the line cord hide in a little drawer, and it's built pretty solid with a handle, so it doesn't seem like it was really meant to live its life on a test bench. It may be a TV or radio technician to take with them. And it just gives you a relative good and bad. It doesn't give you any measurements as far as the beta or that. It'll measure FETs also, by the way. And the manual for this thing is available if you want to download it on the internet. So, that was a quick one for the Sencore Cricked touch tone unit. Bit of nostalgia. So I hope you enjoyed it, got a little something from it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.